Alright, so I want to apologize in advance first. I do not have the necessary setup that I wanted to use in order so that I could move around across the stage or something like that. But I have done the best I can to set it up as neat as possible. So as you know, the country that I have picked for this overview is France. I'm going to talk to you about its weather and its geography, how that relates to its economy, their culture, all this stuff, so that when we move to France for our new business, we'll be able to effectively communicate and we'll be able to perform a very high standard in our business culture. So to begin off with, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is make sure that you at least bring an umbrella. The weather there, it's only a little bit sunny there sometimes. Mostly it's gonna rain quite a bit. It's got different climates with it, like an oceanic climate, the continental climate, the Mediterranean climate, and the mountain climate. They all have varying temperature ranges, but mostly you're going to see a lot of rain in there. Now, all this being said, also make sure you're bringing just a light jacket or maybe some extra clothing just in case you get wet or something like that, because that's going to be one of our main issues. Now, how does this play into its economy? Its location in the country is very unique. It's surrounded by at least 6 other countries, some of which in the past have not, their cultures have clashed a few times in the past. So that affects it as well. It's the 3rd largest country in Europe. Followed first by Russia and then by the Ukraine. Then it's followed by France. It's roughly around 213,000 square miles of land itself. So with that being said, let's jump right into its economy. Now, the France itself in Europe is roughly around the 6th largest economy, with 20th in the world. Its GDP is roughly around $44,000 per person. The economy is based on chemical industry, which is what we specialize in. So that is, number one, beneficial for us. Tourism is another factor, mostly in Paris. That's just, one of its side things. But mostly what we'll be focusing on is the chemical industry. Now, their business culture. Very, very unique. It's slightly similar to ours, but it still has some very unique things. First, foremost, most things that you would expect: be polite, be kind, be courteous, things like that. It's imperative that your first impressions matter, okay? If they like you the first time around, they're going to want to stick with you as time goes on. One other thing you'll want to make sure is when we go there, try to learn a little bit of French. It's very imperative. The French culture, they love French. Their number one language is French. It's not English, like some other countries in their business settings will use English as their number one, their language second. French uses the French language first. If you don't know how to say it, there is a small, little thing you can say in French, which means, "Excuse me for troubling you, but I do not speak French very well." Learn that. Very imperative that you know that. When you approach a businessman or woman, they will probably more likely exchange la bise, and that is the action where you kiss twice on each cheek. If they do that, don't try and shake their hand or greet them some other different way. Just roll with it. You don't know, like I said, you kiss both times on the cheeks like that. When we're there, I want to make sure you guys are not talking about two very, very important matters of which they don't like to discuss when they're talking to strangers. The first one is money. They don't like to talk about their job's pay or anything like that. They don't want to talk about how much money they make. They also don't want to talk about the religious aspects. They want to keep that sort of to themselves. If they know you very well, maybe they'll open up to it, but more than likely they will not want to discuss about these topics. Whenever we get there, if you have some sort of problem, you want to talk directly to whoever you want to talk to. If you need to talk to accounting, you head straight for accounting. Don't try and find the assistant accounting manager. Don't try to find some secretary and ask them, I need to talk to accounting. Just go straight for them, because they're very hierarchical, and they will not, the exchange of time, they won't get it. Okay. Like I said before, I want to stress this enough: be polite, be kind. If you're kind to them, they'll be kind to you. One stereotype that's mostly known throughout the world is, French people are very rude. That is not the case. They are rude because we are rude to them. If you're nice to them, they will actually be a very nice person to get to know. So this is just a basic overview of the business setting. This a very skimmed over the top. Want to get you guys at least to know what you're getting into when we move there. The next thing I want to talk about is eating. Their eating etiquettes. Food in France is set on a very high standard. They love their food. So, whenever eating, the first thing you want to make sure is to arrive on time. They don't get there too early, don't get there too late. You want to arrive just on time for whatever occasion you're at. Don't overeat, because you want to make sure you eat everything that's offered to you. Don't leave food on your plate. Don't refuse something because you don't like it. If you have a severe allergy as such for peanuts or for chocolate or something like that, if you have a severe allergy, then you can tell them you can't eat this. But if, for say, it's something like you don't eat gluten, or you don't eat meat, you don't eat a certain vegetable, you might as well just toss it out the window, because whatever you're given on your plate, they're going to want you to eat it. Wine etiquette, it's very simple, just want to make sure you wait for the host to serve you. You don't grab the wine bottle and start pouring it for yourself. When you go to drink it, just quietly sniff the glass and then take a small sip. Don't guzzle it. During a toast, just lift your glass up in the air and smile. You don't have to clink the glasses or anything like that. You just lift it up and nod and smile. Split the bill evenly. They detest when someone wants to split the bill based on who got what. Whatever the total amount was, you split it right down the center. Well, you all pay equally. Now, this is very important. In America, we have certain standards for women. In France, it's very different. Unlike in America, in France, women can't be vulgar. They can't drink too much. They can't be seen smoking on the streets. It's very imperative that we understand this, because this is one of the things that they will catch us on. They do not appreciate this behavior. In conclusion, I would like to thank you for your time. Just want to point out one quick thing, is that France is its own country. You treat them with kindness, and they will treat you the same. And that is it.
Okay. You went to like 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
I figured I was going to go way overboard.